Hello everybody, my name is Lee. Welcome back to a quick update video. Just a quick update video just to show you that there will be further changes in the new year as per the norm. So let's begin. So the first one is the intro. Now you've probably noticed that in my recent videos I haven't actually been adding my intro. Now there is a good reason for that. It was an experiment to see if viewership will improve, and it has. So I've got rid of it permanently as of this video. Secondly is that there will be a new series coming soon. So I did foreshadow it yesterday in title reviews. Go check it out. But a new series is coming soon. Episode 1 is coming out next week. This series is called Root Reviews. It was a series that I had planned for ages and ages, but I finally got round to it. Root Reviews is basically, well, it says on the tip, reviews a route, showcase what bus I got, what facilities I got on the bus, and all sorts. The first episode will be out next week. I've already got 3 already planned, and a 4th in the pipeline. And thirdly, is the Sentinels Red Group War series. Now, the Sentinels Red Group War, as you know, has been an interesting situation recently. And I can confirm it's been renamed. So the Sentinels Red Group War series is being renamed to Aylesbury Bus War. This is purely because the war between surrounding Red Group is not just confined to Sentinels, it's also confined to Arriva. Hence why I'm doing that. If you want to know, part 5 will be out on the 16th of January. It is more bad news. It is another withdrawal like part 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the best parts of 2025 like I did last year. Quite a bit to go through. So let's begin. So firstly was the Carlisle trip. This was a trip with my sister Nicole. It was a brilliant week away. It's my only video with Nicole this year in 2025. Don't know why we didn't do any more, but hey ho, never mind. But it was interesting. Sadly we did have to go back home early, but that's not our fault. Then we had the Buckingham trip. Now the Buckingham trip was interesting. I did this on the first Tuesday of the new operation. The reason why I did the Tuesday and not the Monday was not because I was not available. I was available. I had deliberately did it so that I can see the 133, 134 by Langston and Tusker. Which only run on a Tuesday. It's a market bus. Hence why I did the Tuesday. On that day, obviously I saw quite a few vehicles. Included L20 LNT with Langston and Tusker on the 18. As well as the 2 vehicles that Red Rose were using on the B1, B2, B3, B4, B5, including MK63 XAC, which has now been repainted. On that day, I must add that at that time I didn't know anything about the new K1 service starting. However, a bit of foreshadowing happened that on the bus that I got from Buckingham Tesco's on the B5 was actually the driver that was going to do the K1 when it started in April. His name is Norzad. He is an idiot. That's all I'm saying though, because if you know Sentinels Red War, you know that the K1 is a bit feisty. Then we had the race from Aylesbury to High Wycombe. Now I did this with my good friend Daniel Meeking, who runs the Transport of Buckinghamshire YouTube channel. Go check him out. I must add that even though it looks like I knew that I didn't know that I won, I can confirm I already did. I already knew that I had won by the time I got to High Wycombe. So obviously I got there first. My train arrived into High Wycombe at about 10. We left at 9:25. I must add that it was a bit of foreshadowing because he left at 9:25, but my train was at 9:26. However, I got to High Wycombe about 10 minutes ahead of him. So, however, I already knew that I had won because by the time that I got to Princess Risborough on the train, he was in Stoke Mandeville. And by the time I got to High Wycombe on the train, he was in Princess Risborough. So I knew that I had already won. It was a brilliant day. We later did different things. I believe we went to Beaconsfield. He went to Furfield. I didn't. I just went as far as Beaconsfield because I wanted to get back to Aylesbury. So yeah, but it was a brilliant day. Then my long journey from Aylesbury to Caen. So this was a thing that I had planned literally a few days in advance. I literally had no idea that I was going to do it until literally I did it. So I planned it quite strategically because of the connections that I needed. I had made sure that I had long connections. The only real short connection I had was Bicester. That was it. Bicester was the only one that I had deliberately had a short connection for, even though I could have spent half an hour there or even longer if I wanted to, because I had so long in Oxford and Swindon. The only reason I did that was because I wanted to get Joe on the 17, because of why not. So I did. Obviously the best vehicle was the Trident on the 55. Brilliant bus. I love a good Trident. Next up was buses to Wiltshire. Now I did this the next day, but for you guys it was a week later. This was interesting. So Wiltshire itself is a county that I didn't really knew about until I went there. It's a brilliant county. But loads of operators, including Fairsaver, who Fairsaver themselves, it was my first time on Fairsaver, and they were absolutely fantastic. Hats off to Fairsaver. However, there were other things, obviously. So towns I went to, started in Caen, went to Devizes, Trowbridge and Chippenham. The county itself is just brilliant. I really like it. And as a foreshadowing, I did not know this at the time, but I knew that something was going on, that my good friend Tim, who owns a preserved bus in Aylesbury, even though he doesn't live in the area, he lives in Swindon, well, just outside Swindon, he now worked for Fairsaver. Which was funny. Sadly, though, you won't see me in Wiltshire again. Unfortunately, things occurred, and I now go to Ipswich instead. So, stay tuned for videos from Ipswich. Then we had the Rickmansworth bus running day, which was an interesting event. Rickmansworth was my first bus running day of the year, out of only 2 of 2025. And you might be asking, why 2, Lee? Why so little? Well, originally I had a plan for a third one, show bus, but as we know, I did an extra upload and saying that it had been cancelled, and I'll get if you want to know, if you hadn't seen that update video, which most people wouldn't done, show bus was cancelled in July due to, unfortunately, HS2 had delayed reopening Station Road in Quayton, which was unfair. So it was cancelled a little like 2 weeks in advance, which was a real shame. I'll get to the bus rally in a minute, but Rickmansworth was a brilliant day. Yes, there was quite a few breakdowns, but it was a brilliant day. Then we had the Yutong demonstrator. So I had this on the 21 route in Bicester. It's a Yutong E9L. Brilliant bus it was. Nothing wrong with it. Brilliant run. I haven't got much to say about it. Then we had the Triaxle rail rep. So, if you're not in the know, Chiltern Railway's rail replacements from Aylesbury are usually quite boring. You usually get the likes of Stagecoach, Transporter and stuff like that. But it came to a shock for me when one day I was coming back from work. I must add, yes, I don't work in Amersham, I work in Milton Keynes. But it was a Sunday and I had to get home somehow. So how I did it was I went from my work in Milton Keynes, got up to Hempstead, got a bus with Carousel up to Amersham, and then I got the Chiltern Railway service back to Aylesbury. There was one small problem. HS2 were doing some work again at Wendover, which meant we were bus replaced again. However, I had a nice surprise when I had all the Minster coach lines, BV73 MHM, B8L MTV Evo City Triaxle on my rail rep. I was expecting Transporter or Stagecoach, but no, I had all the Mr. Coach lines, which was brilliant. Brilliant company. They did bring a B10 once, a Renown B10 once, but that was fun actually. Then we had the sad news of the X5. So those who don't know the X5 service, which was previously the 500 service, was withdrawn. This is another nail in the coffin of the devastating decline of buses in Aylesbury with Arriva. There's only 2 left now, the X4, X6 and later the X14. But the route was missed. So bad in fact that South Bucks Bus Group, bless them, took N168 PUT 2168 and ex-Arriva Midlands Scania L113 East Lancs European on a farewell tour Route 500, and I was there on hand to sample it. It was a brilliant day. That is pictured, of course, at Hemel Hempstead. It was a brilliant day. Brilliant bus. I haven't seen the bus since, actually, because South Bucks Bus Group don't do much now, because if you don't know, it is one-man band, more or less. It's Joe, it's a lot of drivers from Red Rose, including the engineer Oliver, some drivers, a driver from Sennes, not anymore, well, circumstances, a driver from Vale Travel, and that's it, and a driver from Carousel. That's it. They don't have that many vehicles now. They've literally got M168 and an Olympian. That's it. We do plan to take M168 out again in the new year. Don't know when. But we do have plans. Then we had the new Envorers arrive at Red Rose. So Red Rose, if you don't know, had acquired a fleet of 5 brand new MTV Envorers. Now, these entered service quite abruptly, because what happened was they arrived, but then they were off the road for a while, for literally like 2 months. What happened was they arrived, but then all of a sudden the batteries went flat. So we had to wait for new batteries to arrive from Volvo. These Envorers are for Watford services. They are for the W30 Croxley Park service, which, as part of the contract, Croxley Park said that they wanted a brand new bus, so they did. There's 5 of them, and I can give you information about them now. So they're all BU25s. YZJ is green and blue. YZK is blue and green. YZL is purple and pink. YZM is pink and green. And YZH is currently all in white. However, it will be eventually into the red, repaint into the Red Rose colour scheme, like the standard Red Rose colour scheme of the red and yellow. At the moment, however, at the time of me making this video, the bus is currently on loan to Red Line. We don't know why. It apparently had something to do that Buxton University wanted a brand new bus on their uni shuttle, which has finally been rectified with the brand new MMCs, which have finally arrived. So check out that video. But however, YZ8 is eventually due to go back to Red Rose in the later this year. Then we had the Stagecoach rail replacement. Now, as I said, Stagecoach is the coordinator for our rail replacements in Aylesbury, and during the 2-week closure of the Princess Risborough line, while HS2 were doing some engineering works up near Little Kimble, we had rail replacements. Now, you probably think, oh, it's probably going to be all the operators. Bearing in mind, this was during term time, and that means that Vale Travel and Sennes Transport are not available to do anything, because they haven't got the drivers. So, it was all Stagecoach. There was nothing else, none of that. The only non-Stagecoach bus was the Monks Risborough to Princess Risborough shuttle bus, which on the first week was 5-star cabs of Birmingham, and the second week was the return of Transporter Bus, a company that I had not seen for a while. However, there was this weird situation where you probably think, oh, Stagecoach, it will probably be Stagecoach Oxford. Bearing in mind, Oxford's now fully electric, so we can't have electrics in Aylesbury. We haven't got the charging infrastructure. So we had diesels from Stagecoach South, Stagecoach Midlands, and the company I got, Stagecoach East Midlands, based at Lincoln, which was interesting. So I had SN66 VXP, which is in the Stagecoach We Got You navy blue colour scheme, which looks really interesting, I must admit. I mean, it's just navy blue, yeah, but it's alright. I had this on the last day. I was actually expecting the Megabus. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we had Megabus in Aylesbury. It was quite fun. Then we had 25 years of Carousel. So 2025 marked 25 years of Carousel Bus of High Wycombe. And I went down to High Wycombe one day to celebrate this. It was a brilliant. Carousel themselves are an absolute fantastic operator. Formed in 2000, bought by Go Ahead in 2012. The company itself has really grown recently. Obviously 2024 when they took over Arriva High Wycombe. And then obviously later this year in 2026 they are actually making some number of service changes on the 6th of January. So so look out for those. Check their website for more details. Route Reviews is on hand to help out with this, as well as on episode 4 of Route Reviews is going to be one of our new routes, which I will be showcasing. So stay tuned for that. Then we had the bus service changes. So if you don't know, September 2025 marks a massive turning point in bus service changes. We had a number of new services launched in Aylesbury and in other places, including the 55s and the X14. So me and Daniel Meeking, we went out on days 1 and 2 to sample the new network. It was brilliant. I mean, the 55s, I've been on it a few times since. It's a brilliant route. The X14... maybe less so. Unfortunately, apparently ridership isn't the best though, and unfortunately Arriva might be killing it off soon, so just be warned of that. Then we had Bus to the Future. So Bus to the Future was an event in Milton Keynes. I attended it and it was absolutely brilliant. Got quite a few goodies from Arriva, from Get Around MK. There was loads, and I also had tried. I had a sample ride on the Onron Lift, which, if you don't know that, the Onron Lift is an autonomous bus. It's more or less an autonomous pod thing. Milton Keynes, if you don't know, is at the forefront of automation. We've got Onron Lift being trialled, and as well as that, you've also got the driverless robots delivering stuff in Milton Keynes, which is fantastic. Milton Keynes is really growing. I mean, from the new city to a city of automation with On Lift, also the robots, everything. Milton Keynes is at the forefront of it all. Then we had the Chesham Bus Running Day. So Chesham was a week earlier than usual. Normally Chesham was first week of October, but for some reason it was pushed forward by a week to run on the last Sunday of September, which is going to be doing in 2026. Chesham this year in 2025 was interesting. I did a few runs, as you can see, up to Asheridge, brilliant village. 51 years and counting, ladies and gents. Will this be the year? We don't know. And obviously up to Gerrards Cross on the 353, which was fantastic. I will be attending in 2026. I'll get to that in a minute. Then my unusual rides. Now, Sen and Ness. How can I put this? Sen and Ness are super nice to me. I mean, they're very nice to me. And I got to ride some very interesting vehicles, including SN06 B&J. One their recent acquired Trident E400s. Brilliant. I mean, hats off to Sen and Ness for allowing me to do that with my driver Dan. And obviously the new routes like the SR1 and the 4, which have sadly not been withdrawn, of course. But brilliant it was. Now, there were a few things that I did take, but I didn't make a video out of it. So let's see what those are. So the first one was this. So this is KBO70XF. It's a Plaxton Panther coach, originally new to Oxford Bus Company, later moved to Red Line, and it's now a Red Rose. This coach has been off the road for years, absolute years, and it's brilliant. Sadly, I never got to ride it, unfortunately. It's a school bus. Well, it was a school bus, I'll get to that. So on the first day of it being out, I saw it, in Aylesbury, being driven by Oliver there, the engineer at Red Rose, because he does drive school routes sometimes. Sadly, you won't be able to ride this bus anymore, or well, this coach anymore, because again, it's been withdrawn. Not because it's broken, but because there's no use of it. Red Rose had originally planned to run it on the 321 school route between Princess Risborough and Tame. However, for some reason, Buckinghamshire Council, who contract the route to Red Rose, said not to use it. So, hence why they now use a different vehicle. Normally E13 RRT, the E300, or HW54 BTV, which is a Dennis Dart. Then I also did the first week of Leighton Buzz with Centrebus. So, those who don't know the Leighton Buses network, this was a network of services that was launched a couple of years ago by Arriva. Well, it was actually in partnership between Central Bedfordshire Council and the bus company of Arriva. That had changed in this year, in 2025. It had been the new contracts had been awarded to Centrebus, who now run it under the Leighton Buses by Centrebus brand, but also have a sub-name for it, Leighton Buzz, because obviously it's Leighton Buzzard. Why not? It's also something to do with other things like Buzz. Obviously, there's loads of things in Leighton Buzz that's got that Buzz thing. Like obviously Leighton Buzz, and also the Buzzer buses, which, if you don't know, Buzzer buses is the dial-a-ride service in Leighton Buzzard. It's been running for years, and as you see, this was one of their new 25-plate MMCs that Centrebus had acquired. Arriva obviously using the 73 plates that they had gained from Kent and Thames side. But it's Leighton Buzz, creating a buzz about town. And it's brilliant. I mean, the service itself is brilliant. They've got very comfortable seating, dealer slot seating, unfortunately, but that's okay. Next up, announcements. It's also got timetables. I did get a few timetables. If you want timetable reviews on the timetables, do let me know. But they are brilliant buses. I'm really, really good buses. Much better than the Arriva ones. Sorry, Arriva. Then we have a street light in Aylesbury. Now, if you know me, you will know that I don't like street lights. But seeing a street light in Aylesbury is very rare. If you know Arriva, they don't normally put street lights on the X4, X6. However, it had nothing to do with Arriva. It had something to do with Wadston Manor. Now, those who don't know Wadston Manor, it's a big house in Wadston, just outside Aylesbury. Wadston Manor, which is owned by the National Trust, has its own fleet of buses for the shuttle bus. Because of where the car park is, it's a bit of a walk to the manor itself. So, the Rothschild Foundation, who also own Wadston Manor, and the National Trust work in partnership to run the shuttle bus between the car park, the manor itself, and the stables back to the car park. They have a fleet of vehicles. They've got, I believe, 3 road street lights, 2 Mercedes-Benz Torrid Bentley buses, and they've also recently acquired 2 Optare Fursas. However, it was completely out of the blue that I saw one of the street lights, MX61BAA, which was new to Perryman's, in Aylesbury Town Centre at the railway station. These vehicles are rarely out, but I was actually surprised to see them out. It was just one street light. Not sure why it was out, but hey ho. Then, of course, I did my station ticket. I'm not showing all the pictures because I don't have pictures for every station. Something that I had actually marked up this year in 2025. I didn't take a picture of every station that I've been to. But I've got a few there. First and last buses of 2025. SM53 LWR on the 9 was my first bus, and my last bus was actually the Riva bus, Riva MK's 3904 FJ58 HYM, which is a urban based at Milton Keynes depot, on the 6th. So what's to come in 2026? Apart from obviously the changes that I've said, there are a few bus rallies I'm going to. Those being Watford on the 29th of March, Chesham or Showbus on the 27th of September. Now, both Chesham and Showbus are on the same day, so one of them will get pushed back. Most likely Chesham. Note though that Showbus is going to be at a different location. Buckinghamshire Railway Centre confirmed a few weeks after the cancellation that they are no longer able to handle Showbus. So it's been confirmed that the Buckinghamshire Railway Centre is no longer the hosting place for Showbus. A new location is being sourced as we speak. But that's all I've got time for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video I make. Goodbye.